Greetings of peace and love, my people. This is Anna Renee, your love power goddess, and I'm giving you all love and joy and peace and ascension, of course. Today, I am reading from the wonderful book, The Ancient Astrological Secrets of the Jews Revealed by astrologer Reuven Shamrani. And I am going in with Virgo, the Virgin, from August 24th through September 23rd. So we're going to be reading about Virgo, and I sure hope that our brother, because I always got to say this, I always got to give a warning, because Reuben Shamrani is quite a character, I guess, and so you know what, he's going to do what he does. So let me just read it, okay? You people got to be able to hang with this stuff, okay? Virgo the Virgins, August 24th through September 23rd. I'm tired of excusing it. Deal with it, okay, my people? Ruling intelligence of sign, Zebulon. Reason, caution, practicalness. Planetary ruler, Mercury, which is governed by the Sephira Raquel. Intelligence, volatility, ability to communicate and deal. Well, isn't that interesting? Tendency to gossip. Mathematics, talent for financial gain. Kabbalistic number 7. The specific key qualities endowed or particularly emphasized by each of the signs' decanates are as follows. August 24th through September 2nd, inclusive. Reserve, considerable manual dexterity, dislike of physical exertion. September 3rd through 13th, inclusive. Pronounced money orientation, likely to be avaricious. September 14th through the 23rd, inclusive. Indolence, indifference. Oh boy, let's see what our brother's getting ready to put down with this one. Virgo is the passive opposite of Gemini under the rulership of the volatile planet Mercury. You will find that the Virgo of Hebrew astrology is a far cry from that generally presented by modern students of the subject. In recent times, it has become the custom to characterize Virgo as a dry, super fastidious, straight-laced, and celibate sign. The popular version has it that Virgos intensely dislike being touched, have a phobic fear of being soiled or infected, and prefer to isolate and insulate themselves from the rest of the world. Some of the words customarily used to describe Virgo natives are perfectionists, acrimonious introverts, narrow-minded moralists, hair splitters, and professional virgins. Okay. All in all, our contemporary astrologers seem to agree that people born under the sixth sign of the zodiac are rather unsympathetic, unlikable, and unliking, even negative and disagreeable. Then, of course, in the modern version, Virgos are not only prim and puritanical in regard to sex, but they are virtually asexual, dry, sour people. Ancient astrology took a much different view of Virgo. Before discussing the characteristics of the sign as they were delineated by the scholars of antiquity, it might be highly interesting to leap ahead a little and gain understanding of why there is such a huge difference. The explanation is ridiculously simple. According to the ancient Chaldeans, Egyptians, and Greeks, Virgo did not connote virginity or celibacy. Quite to the contrary, the sign symbolized nubility, fertility, and even sexuality. In the Egyptian mysteries, Virgo was associated with the goddess Isis. In the Greco-Roman systems, the goddess Ceres corresponded to the sign of Virgo. Both these goddesses represent fertility, with strong overtones of passion and sensuality. What happened to change Virgo so completely? Well, the medieval and Renaissance astrologers simply made a grave error of translation and interpretation. They accepted Virgo as a virginal sign without going back to original sources, and Virgo soon became a prudish, spinsterish sign at the hands of misinformed or uninformed astrologers. Isn't that a trip how people can just switch up the trajectory of history just by being ignorant and in possession of knowledge, but just too ignorant to translate it? That's a huge difference right there, okay? Oh my goodness. Alright, sorry about that, my people. What happened to change Virgo so completely? Well, the medieval and Renaissance astrologers simply made a grave error of translation and interpretation. They accepted Virgo as a virginal sign without going back to the original sources, and Virgo soon became a prudish, spinsterish sign at the hands of misinformed or uninformed astrologers. No one ever bothered to correct the error, which was passed down to our own era. The ancients recognized the passion and passions of Virgo, but described them as being hidden beneath a deceptively cool and impersonal exterior. They went to considerable pains explaining this deep-down sensuality of the sign, which is something modern astrologers apparently disregarded. Then there is that widely held notion that all Virgos are meticulous, even sterile in all their habits and behavior. This tenet has been a source of great bafflement and dismay to generations of astrology students who have observed diametrically opposed traits of untidiness and slovenliness in countless Virgo natives. We could go on listing such discrepancies for several pages. They are examples of the myths and misconceptions that grew up around Virgo in the last few centuries, which have caused this to be one of the most incorrectly analyzed of all signs. However, a cataloging of such inconsistencies merely for the sake of showing the contrast would be a waste of time. There is far more to be gained by a straightforward presentation of the facts about Virgo as they are contained in Kabala, Zohar, and other source works of antiquity. In this way, you will obtain fresh, clear, and for once accurate insight into the sign, the personality, and nature of those who are born under it. Needless to say, this will be of particular interest and value to you who are Virgo natives and have not been able to find your true selves in the analyses made by modern astrologers. You, the individual. Virgo is an earth sign, imparting solidity, dependability, and practical nature. It is also a mutable sign, which means that those born under it will have a strong desire to be of service to others. Then there are the influences of the ruling planet Mercury to consider. Mercury endows Virgos with a keen intelligence, an ability to communicate easily with others, and an innate gift for linguistics, which is further enhanced by a pleasant, attractive voice. While the ruling intelligence of the sign Zebulon adds a somewhat cautious, careful quality, this does not imply the reticence and misanthropic withdrawal described by conventional modern astrologers. The caution is of the sort decreed by reason and by calm intellectual analysis of situations and conditions. It does not call for irrational restraint, but rather serves to protect the individual from unnecessary risk and danger. Consider also the traits bestowed by the Sephira governing Mercury as listed at the beginning of this chapter. Remember that Virgos are money makers, and they also have very considerable manual dexterity. Recall the traditional Isis series relationship with the sign. The complete picture that results is a far cry indeed from the portrait of the fussy, spinster, celibate crochet so often fobbed off on us by today's astrologers. You, Virgo, are a much different person than you've been led to believe. While you may be neat, and why should you be any less so than natives of other signs? It's by no means accurate to label you the most fastidious of all creatures in the zodiac. On the contrary, you are very frequently preoccupied with abstract thought and with analyzing all that which is around you. This preoccupation can and does lead to a rather charming form of absent-mindedness in many instances. You do not have the time or patience to concern yourself with meaningless trivia, and no person with this sort of attitude can possibly be super fastidious. Then there's a popular belief that natives of the sixth sign are ultra discriminating in their choice of friends and acquaintances. This, too, is a myth. You Virgos are communicators, people who like to deal with others and profit from such dealings. While it's fair to assume that you'll have some standards and gauges by which to measure people, you most certainly will not be a niggling, picker-chooser. You are a much closer relative of Gemini than modern astrology cares to admit. Virgos share many of Gemini's traits, with the notable exception of cruelty. We've said that Virgos are strongly motivated to be of service to others, which, of course, is not a notable Gemini trait. But you share the gift for languages, the ability to do things with your hands, the conversational talent, and, believe it or not, the wit. But where Gemini wit is often cruel, caustic, and lacerating, yours is crackling, incisive, perhaps even biting, yet never cruel, never intended to cause gratuitous harm or embarrassment to anyone. Perhaps what annoys so many contemporary students of astrology is that you Virgos have a rare capacity for seeing through anything that is a sham or bogus. It's very difficult to deceive you, and while you are not hostile or combative, you seldom hesitate to announce that you've recognized the truth in a situation, and make short work of lies and liars. It's not comfortable to have people like you around if one is seeking to bluff. Therefore, it's convenient to discredit you in advance. What better means of accomplishing this end than by making you Virgos appear to be cranky, carping, eternally discontented fault-finders? Well, you are none of these things. The ancients saw you as fruitful, creative, and productive. They ascribed to you emotional depth, which the moderns, for one reason or another, have taken away from you. Of course, in order to accomplish this, they even had to take away your traditional Kabbalistic number 7 and arbitrarily substitute another. Oddly enough, few have been able to agree which number it should be. This author has before him several astrological books written and published in 1970. 2 or 3 hold that the number for Virgo is 5. One gives it as 4. Another goes to the extreme of dividing the zodiacal month into 2 equal parts and assigning the number 22 to the first and 23 to the second. Try and see yourself in light of the original ages-old concept of Virgo personality rather than the one which has been created in the last few centuries. Accept yourself as being practical and down to earth, yet exceptionally alert, perceptive, clever, and possessing far more capacity for emotion and passion than is currently supposed. If any final word is needed to impress you with the true nature of Virgo, it is provided by a random sampling of famous natives of this sign: Maurice Chevalier, Henry Ford II, Ingrid Bergman, Lauren Bacall, Peter Lawford, Sophia Loren, William Soroyan, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Shirley Booth. Virgos all. Cold, unemotional, asexual indeed. Make the most of mind power. Virgo is richly endowed at the intellectual level. You sixth sign people are keenly alert and sensitive. Your minds are perceptive, sharply focused, aware of all that goes on around you. You have unusual powers of insight into situations and people, and you have the ability to turn what you see to good advantage. The Virgo brain is also a subtle brain. It is capable of rapidly building invincible defenses and devising foolproof schemes for attack and counterattack. One of the many strengths of Virgo intellect is the ability to communicate thoughts, ideas, even feelings and emotions through the media of speech or the written word. Few, if any, signs of the zodiac have produced such a wealth of literary talent as has Virgo. However, many of you sixth sign folks are less interested in literary creation than you are in achieving financial success, and your mind is superbly suited to do just that. You have the talent to recognize the relative values of all the elements in a given situation. Your powers of analysis are remarkable, and in using them, you arrive at the correct moves and solutions far ahead of others. This gives you a distinct advantage, a wide edge in all competitive situations. Another facet of sixth sign mind power that is among your principal assets is your gift for handling, mastering anything that is abstract, which you not only grasp, but you immediately translate into practical terms. Furthermore, one of your most valuable attributes is the ability to think simultaneously on abstract and concrete levels, and to apply the former to the latter as operative principle, the latter to the former as specification for refinement or expansion. You have an active, working, productive mind. It processes the raw material of thought quickly, mixing it with the leaven of reality and practicality to give an end product of tangible achievement. This is why so many of you excel in the fields of manufacturing, business, and finance. The Virgo mind quickly recognizes opportunity and immediately sets about to find the best means for exploiting it to the full. To this extent, it can be argued that sixth sign success is usually an achievement of intellect. However, there is much to be said for what you frequently maligned Virgo folks can accomplish by working with and through people. Interacting with others. In the conventional modern view, Virgo is presented as being very withdrawn, unsociable, standoffish, achoritic. Natives of the sixth sign are held to cantankerous grumblers, chronic complainers, and criticizers. They are accused of being too fastidious and discriminating, of being perfectionists who cannot be and are not satisfied with anyone else's personality, qualities, or qualifications. These are some of the common libels against Virgo, oft repeated by supposed authorities, but totally without foundation and justification. We must remember that Virgo is not the dry virgin of recent distortion, but rather the nubile maid, the sign possessing the warmth, indeed the heat, symbolized by Isis and Ceres in the ancient astrological systems. It is possible that the error that has been compounded to such absurd degree was originally an honest mistake in interpretation. There is truth in the contention that Virgos do not enter easily into relationships which provide them no intellectual stimulation. Six-sign folk cannot abide people who are dull, unintelligent, and to the extent of avoiding such persons, Virgos are discriminating. On the other hand, the sparkle and wit of Virgos make them attractive, entertaining companions. Despite all theories to the contrary, natives of this sign make many friends and acquaintances among individuals with whom they have commonality of intellectual interests. These relationships are usually close and enduring, considerably more meaningful than the helter-skelter friendships that many other people make on the most superficial basis. Certainly, there are few human beings anywhere who prove to be as loyal, helpful, and lasting friends as Virgos. You, Virgo, can not only make good and devoted friends, but you have a flair for accomplishing your aims and achieving your ambitions through people. This is due in part to the crystal clarity with which you explain, make your request, or issue your instruction. But mainly, the reason for your success with people is the way you have with them. Calm, plain-spoken, deceptively unassuming. They respond to your approach, willingly cooperate, make a special effort to be of service to you, just as you are often, and so readily of service to others. Seraphius, in the 1st century BC, is among those who made definitive comment on the subtler talents of Virgo in human relationships. He said natives of the sign were singularly adept at making others do their bidding, without those others being aware that there was direction from Virgo. Hence, they, Virgos, are among the wealthiest traders and merchants and those influential persons who shape the course of events, wrote Seraphius. Annotators of Kabala and Zohar add their praise for Virgoan ability to motivate and accomplish results through interaction with others. Some of them characterize six-sign natives as natural powers behind the throne. A most interesting point when one considers that men like Cardinal Richelieu and Charles Dawes were Virgos. Very well then, Virgo, readjust your thinking about yourself and your personality. Appreciate the fact that you are warm and friendly, that you make friends, and that you can prevail on them to follow your advice and instructions. You will gain from people, but since you are always ready and willing to be of service to them, when they are in need, you give value for value received. Romantic relationships. Those who believe that Virgos are sexually cold or that they have low sexual drives are victims of recently perpetuated myths. There is ample sexual drive and passion in natives of the sign, but these are not strident or flauntingly displayed. The powerful sexuality of Virgos shows itself only when it has been brought out in the right kind of romantic situation. The Virgo male is hot-blooded, but he is not an indiscriminate womanizer. He requires more than mere physical outlet. There must be mutual intellectual attraction and interest. He reserves total emotional commitment until he is quite certain that it will not be wasted or misplaced. As for you, Lady Virgo, have tremendous erotic potential. The potential is realized when you meet a man who appeals to you and satisfies your desire for considerably more than just a physically satisfying relationship. There are likely to be more than a few such men in your life. Don't ever delude yourself into thinking that you are the prudish old maid that so many modern astrologers claim you to be. Once involved in a romantic relationship, the female Virgo is passionate, loving, and faithful for the duration of the romance. These relationships tend to be somewhat longer lasting than those involving females of most other signs. Notwithstanding all that has been written by our present-day popularizers, Virgos of both sexes are well suited for marriage, provided they have the right partners as spouses. Again, there must be intellectual interest and stimulation. Virgo cannot be happy with a mate who has a slow, plodding mind. Six-sign males are excellent providers. They are men who usually earn well above the average, and they are generous with their wives and families. Virgo wives are affectionate, loving, passionate, and all other things being equal, loyal and devoted. They are almost impossible to fool or deceive. However, and this is something any man who wants to marry a Virgo female should bear in mind: mastery in the material sphere. The ancients maintained that wealth and material success are written large in natal planetary configurations of Virgos. They are bright, talented, capable people, and they are industrious. These, of course, are ingredients that provide an ideal mix. Virgos have exceptional mathematical aptitude. They learn foreign languages quickly and easily. They do not find it difficult to concentrate, and, unlike their Gemini cousins, they are not restless, changeable, or superficial. Virgos usually know what they want, and they can be depended upon to get it. Most natives of this sign are extremely versatile, capable of doing many things quickly and efficiently, and as we've noted, they have a rare knack for getting things done by and through other people. Yeah, let me stop for a second. You know what? I really like this guy, Mr. Shamrani, because he likes setting the record straight. I have that in common with the man, the man I've never met. I can't stand lies, historical lies, just any kind of lies, and he obviously can't stand astrological lies. And I love how he brings forth the ancient, knowledge to correct what modern people don't even bother to think through. They just repeat what has been repeated, which has been repeated, and that's how a lie starts and just rolls on for a long time, and I have a problem with that, yeah. Anyway, my people, business, commerce, manufacture are all good fields for Virgo. Six-sign people are also excellent mathematicians, research scientists, medical doctors, laboratory technicians, pharmacists, and attorneys. Many are particularly gifted writers, musicians, actors, and entertainers. As with Gemini, the communications industries are very favorably aspected for Virgo people. All right. Details by decanates. First decan, August 24th through September 2nd. The rulership here of the sun has some oddly assorted effects on Virgos. People born during this particular period are inclined to avoid physical exertion. They are more reserved than other Virgos. They are also more highly gifted with talent in their hands. It is in this decan that one finds Virgo painters, sculptors, and handicrafters. Second decan, September 3rd through the 9th. This decadent is ruled by Venus. Love of money and all things material is emphasized, as are the determination and ability to obtain them. In extreme cases, these added influences produce avarice, sensuality, and cyberitism. Third decan, September 14th through the 23rd. Mercury holds dominion over this segment of the zodiacal month, and not with the happiest of all possible effects. When the double Mercury influence is at its strongest, the native will tend to be indolent, indifferent, lacking strength of will. There is also a possibility of a destructive streak manifesting itself in the individual's personality. All right, my people. Yes, and that there is Brother Reuben Shamrani's take from an astrological Kabbalah perspective of Virgo, the Virgin. All right, my people, and to all the Virgos out there, make sure you take what he says with a grain of salt, even though he is very effusive with the wonderfulness of your Virgo beautifulness. Still take what he says with a grain of salt. You know yourselves. All right? So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this reading of Virgo the Virgin, and I want to leave you all with peace and love and power, self-knowledge, most importantly. Okay, my people? Peace and blessings to each and every one of you.